the challenges of being a pilot in your opinion?
I guess that the biggest challenge really is the bureaucracy. There's plenty of that.
Why do you think so? What do you mean by that?
The most difficult part of flying is the paperwork.
Right. Okay. Have you ever gotten sick during any flight?
No.
Never felt bad?
Nope.
Good. Until what age do you plan to keep flying?
As long as I'm in shape to fly, I hope that will be long.
Right. And what's the hardest part about being a pilot, not concerning bureaucracy? Yeah.
Hardest part of being a pilot?
I mean,
another hard part of being pilot is that the physical force that keeps the plane up in air is money.
Oh, do you think so?
Yes.
And where did you study? Where did you have your course?
I did my private pilot license in Finland at the University of Technology in Finland. Then I did instrument, commercial, multi-engine rating in the United States. And then I did the convalidation in Brazil.
And why did you decide to be a pilot?
I always wanted to.
Right. But do you fly for a living or you have any other business?
No, I don't fly for a living, but flying helps with the business.
Oh, I see. Do you have your own plane?
Yes.
Okay. Would you encourage your son or daughter to become a pilot?
Well, I don't have a son and daughter, but if I had one, I would.
Why?
I think it's a possibility of creating a career, and if not, it's a nice way to get around.
All right. Which is the most beautiful airport you've been to, in your opinion?
The most beautiful airport? That's a tough question. I don't know, maybe Ubatuba is a nice airport.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Why?
It's right on the beach, a small airport, little traffic.
Right. Tell me about your first solo flight.
That was more than 20 years ago. I don't know if I remember it that much, other than it was a crosswind, really rough crosswind. But anyway, my instructors told me that go ahead and do it.
And where was it?
That was in Finland.
Oh, I see. And how did you feel?
In the beginning, I was a little bit nervous, but then once I got up to air, I think I felt very good about it.
Okay. Fine. So now we're moving to the second part of the test, okay?
Okay.
In this part, you will listen to a speech from the recorder involving two different situations. When it finishes, I want you to report what you understood.
Okay.
Remember that you can listen to each extract twice.
Okay.
Okay? So, you can adjust the headset.
Do I need to put the microphone down?
No, it's not
I don't need
necessary.
it. Okay.
May I?
Yep.
What did you understand?
Well, it is a flight to Paris to Madrid. The boarding has already been completed. The passengers are on board, and cargo loading is delayed, and therefore the passengers are getting a little bit nervous.
Right. So you are the captain in this situation, okay? I want you to ask coordination why cargo loading is taking so long, and state that you need to take off in 10 minutes.
Okay, so
you talk to coordination.
to the coordination.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, coordination. This is
765.
765, and wondering what is going on with cargo loading. Could you please give an update?
Right. So listen to them.
Captain, we're just waiting for some baggage for connecting flights. Did you say that we have to take off in 12 minutes?
We would like to be going in 10 minutes if possible.
Okay. And why are they late?
They are late because of some connecting flights.
Okay. Fine. Now we're moving to a different situation. Okay.
Okay.
What did you understand here?
The flight is requesting to divert to the nearest airport because one of the passengers has passed out. The captain is suspecting that he had a heart attack.
Right. So now tell the controller you need medical assistance.
Okay.
It's Cruiser 289er, okay?
Okay, control, this is Cruiser 289er requesting to divert to the nearest suitable airport. I have a passenger that has passed out and we request medical assistance at the airport.
Okay, so listen to the controller. What did you understand here?
The controller is instructing a left turn heading 185 and the controller had misunderstood that we need police assistance.
Can you clarify the situation for the controller?
Control, this is Air France 289er. We request medical assistance. Police assistance is not necessary.
Okay. Now listen to the flight attendant's call, okay? What do you understand?
He's asking what to do because the passenger is laying on the floor, sweating, and now he's getting very pale.
And tell him what to do. You're the captain.
Okay, go ahead and get out the cardiac kit and try to give him a shot.
Okay. Alright. So now we're moving to the third part of the test, okay?
Okay.
In this part, you will listen to two different conversations, and then I'll ask you some questions related to that.
Okay.
Okay? Can we go?
Okay, let's go.
What did you understand here?
The flight 269 has asymmetry and they have difficulty flying straight ahead, therefore they are requesting to go for long final and request assistance at landing.
Okay. What could the cause of slight asymmetry be? The causes of slight asymmetry.
Oh, it could be wrong loading of the plane. It could be some problem with the flaps. One side of the flaps did not retract. It could be also a lost engine. They may have a lost engine on one side.
What are the procedures you should follow if you have this problem?
First, fly the plane. Keep the plane under control. Thereafter, seek a suitable place to land.
Is it a serious situation?
Yes.
Why?
Because if you can't keep the plane flying right, you can put it very easily into a stall, a spin, or even worse.
Right. I will play the second one, okay?
Okay.
Sorry. What did you understand here?
Malaysian 765 had an engine failure at departure, and Madrid control is instructing him to climb to flight level 050.
Okay. Have you ever had an engine problem during flight?
As a pilot, no. As a passenger, yes.
Tell me about it.
That was a buddy flight departing from London to São Paulo.
Right.
And I first saw or after the departure, I saw the lights of Cornwall being left behind, and was ready to start sleeping. And suddenly I noticed that we had lights below us again. And after Cornwall to São Paulo, there are no places to have lights. Looking out, it started looking like Isle of Wight, that we were circling on top of Isle of Wight. And about 15 minutes later, the captain announced that we were dumping the fuel and waiting to return to London because we had lost number 2 engine. And announced that the landing will be normal. The landing was normal, but anyway, the fire brigades were out.
I see. What problems does a pilot have when using pen, and mayday, mayday? Can you give me examples?
Mayday, mayday, mayday is an emergency related to the flight itself, while pan is used to report some other emergency that is not involving the aircraft. For example, seeing a vessel in distress on the ocean, accident on the highway or something like that.
Right. Okay, now considering both situations in part 3, do you remember the first problem?
Yes.
What was it?
The lost engine? No,
Yes.
the very first one was the asymmetric thrust.
Right,
Yes.
and this last one?
Lost engine.
Right, so how would you compare both problems?
I would say that the asymmetry is a worse situation than the lost engine.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Why?
Because with one engine lost, the plane will fly okay if the pilot is up to speed. With asymmetry, if it is caused by wrong loading of the plane, there's not much the pilots can do.
Alright. In your opinion, what's the worst emergency ever a pilot can face?
The worst emergency ever? Probably hijacking.
Why do you think so?
Because again, it is a situation to which there is not one single way to react. A way to react to one hijacking situation might be completely inadequate in another hijacking situation.
Okay. Alright. So now we're moving to the last part of the test, okay?
Very good.
I want you to describe this picture to me, and then I'll ask you some questions about it. You don't need the headset anymore if you
Okay.
want to be agree.
Now I can hear you better.
Just tell me what you see.
Okay, well, it looks like an aircraft in the colors of Air Malaysia, and there's smoke coming from the left engine, so there's probably some problem with the left engine.
Right. What would standard procedures be for this situation? Are there any memory items?
Shut off the left engine, use the extinguisher on the left engine, and look for the nearest airport to land, nearest suitable airport to land.
Was it a similar situation than one you've been through?
Not really, because it did not have an engine fire, it was just an in-flight engine shut off. And also it was the number 2 engine on MD-11, which is in the middle, so there was no problem with the asymmetric thrust.
Right. Do you think this situation would be more critical if it were in another type of aircraft?
Actually, this looks like an Airbus, so I would say that, in some of the older aircrafts it might be more difficult to control the asymmetry. Of course, the best situation would be if something like this would happen in a Boeing 747. Losing 1 out of 4 engines is not really so big deal as losing 1 out of 2.
Alright. What about a single-engine airplane? How do pilots handle the situation?
Actually, with single engine, it is not so bad after all, because with single engine, if you lose the engine, you have just one course of action. Try to restart the engine. If it fails, look for a good place to land.
I see.
With 2 engines, you have a series of options and decisions to make very quickly.
Sure. Okay. Anything else, Matthias?
No, I think that's all.
So this is the end of our test, okay?
Very good.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.